Welcome to Twist Talks. Today will be a bit different. Today is just me and Caden, as Wonder has chosen to have no involvement in this episode.
Because Wonder is our main editor, we are raw dogging this shit. Please bear with us, as this will most likely be horribly recorded with background noise and whatnot, as we have no idea how editing works, despite Wonder explaining how.
So for our trigger warnings, we are going to talk a lot about inbreeding, sexual content, abuse, race, the English/British and their monarchy, and Black Butler. Also a huge spoil warning for everything, as we will not be containing ourselves to just the English release. If anything else comes up, we are so sorry that we didn't know beforehand or how to edit.
All right, kids, I know this is a hard topic, but we need to address this headcanon. Now, you may say, what the fuck, Caden and Talisa? I've never heard this before. Well, you're in luck. I actually made it. Well, in a deep rant with Wonder for hours on end over weird things we can't even remember, you're probably wondering what this headcanon is. Well, it's that Malleus is inbred.
If you can engage that from the trigger warning I just read. I also love the fact that I got tongue-tied over Black Butler.
Yeah.
And still am.
Yeah.
So, proof right there, we don't know how to edit.
Yeah. So we do have a list. Well, that was our script. That was everything that was scripted, and that's everything that will be scripted. We have a list of different reasons behind stuff. So that's really our own script stuff. What you got there?
I need to make sure that I'll be referencing the correct video for where I got my... attempted to get my facts.
Okay. Should we put the reference before or when you're doing it?
I'll do it when I'm doing it.
Okay.
Because I also need to learn what this thing is actually called.
Yeah.
It's in the chat. I just gotta...
Yeah.
You can get started. I will mainly just be here for random comments and emotional support during this. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So, to start off, a big reason why we could say Malleus is inbred is he is royalty. Now, that should really just be self-explanatory, but if you didn't know, a lot of royalty is inbred. Just to keep it within the bloodline and whatnot. They usually have a bunch of kids and make them all get married and then have more kids, and then the cycle just continues on.
It's like the purebloods in Harry Potter.
Yes.
Exactly like that.
Exactly like that. Another thing with royalty is the creator of Twisted Wonderland. I forgot her name.
I'll look it up.
Okay. She also created Black Butler, which, if you don't know what Black Butler is, well, it's basically just a story about... Sorry, okay, Yana Toboso.
Sure.
I probably said that wrong.
We 100% will say things wrong in this episode.
Yeah.
We're American.
Yeah.
Enough said there.
So, Black Butler is following the Earl of a land. His name is CL Phantom Hive, and he basically has a demon for a butler.
As you do.
Yeah, and because he is the Earl of Phantom Hive, he is from the British monarchy. He's part of the English monarchy system, and if you don't know, the English monarchy is very well known for their inbredness. And so, assuming Yana kept everything to par with that, they're probably very used to writing inbred people. And seeing as we have a royal person and a creator who has worked with a lot of inbred people, you kind of just mesh two together. Yeah, so another reason is he's fae. And fae are like fish. They do not care because there's so little of them. Although fish, there's so many of them, they do not care. With fae, I guess it's more of mythology, but they just simply do not care because there's so little of them that it really has no lasting effect. And because they're magic, there's no...
Plus, they also live for hundreds of years, so that could also alter the amount of people there is to end up with.
Yeah. Just because you live for 700 years doesn't mean you're gonna have someone to live with those 700 years with.
Imagine raising a child for 700 years.
What do you think Lilia's been doing?
I mean,
look at him. He's so tired. Sorry, I'm pointing to the Lilia in my PC.
He's laying down. He's a sleepy boy.
Yeah.
In his PE uniform.
He's stretching.
Oh, he's stretching?
He's got his ass in the air. Sorry, we are...
You don't just collapse like that?
No. We are also recording this in person because it makes it easier to not edit.
Because we don't know how.
Yay!
Yeah, the next bullet point on our list... Your screen just lit up for no reason. The last bullet point on our list is that... What was it? Maleficent was the last dragon fae that we know of.
Yeah.
But Mally looks a lot like what we assume a dragon fae would look like.
Yeah, and, like, with fae, their genetics mix real well. So, like, if he was mixed with anything else, we'd probably be able to tell.
He has no crocodile DNA.
Yeah. Like, he's got scales, but they're clearly dragon scales. And if Maleficent was the last dragon fae, which is pretty canonically correct that she was, and that if she is his grandma and stuff, then it'd be pretty weird for her to have like a full-blooded dragon fae as a grandson, especially when she's the last one known.
Although that does raise the question of how was their child not known as a...
Maybe she, like...
Running into some potholes as we get along through this. Wonder will be so pleased. Not that they'll ever listen to this.
Maybe like before she became the last, like if we're going off of the 2014 film, maybe she had a little interaction there and then she got an egg, because it is canon in Twist that they get eggs and that they wait forever to hatch. So maybe she got twins. And one was Malleus's mom and dad, and the other was Malleus's dad. Which also brings me to another point. Depending on which translation you read, because apparently there's 2 different translations with Malleus's dad's name.
Which makes no sense.
Yeah. So it's either read as Levian, or
Levan? Levan.
Or Revian.
Revan.
And the only reason that apparently it's read with 2 different translations and that we know this is because Wonder wrote it with the R. And then I was like, no, I've only seen it with the L. And they were like, well, the L and the R are very similar in Japanese, so it could be either one. And we have to wait till the English release to know.
And then for us to play it.
Yeah. But if you don't know, the R one is actually an anagram for raven. Oh my god. Like Maleficent's bird?
Diablo, or if you're watching the 2014 live action, Diablo. Because we can't have birds named straight up after the devil anymore.
Ooh.
I feel like it's more fitting now than it was before.
So did she let her daughter fuck her bird? I don't think so. So I don't understand why Malleus's dad would be anagrammed as Raven. Especially because...
I feel like she would.
Would she actually let her daughter fuck her bird?
If it's like the 2014 one where the bird can turn English, turn into a human, it's debatable.
I don't think she would let her daughter fuck a bird. And that is simply because she barely, in the 2014 film, she barely let her daughter marry someone else. Even if he was human, she was like totally... She was so against it. But she was like, oh, if you'll love him.
Yeah, but that's 2014, Philip. I'm kind of with her on that one.
Yeah. To the original one, I would have been like, ew, no, you're not marrying my daughter.
You didn't like the original Philip?
He just went in there and kissed her.
I mean, fair.
He didn't say
after they had a nice slow dance in the woods.
No.
The original Philip was a lot more willing to go fight a dragon for her, whereas the live action one, they're just like, here, do this, and he's like, why am I here?
Yeah.
What is happening? Where in the animated one, he actually was like, I need to save her. Let me help.
So this is going
That's a bit of a tangent.
This is going off the assumption that Aurora is like a
Silver.
adopted daughter to Maleficent, and that Maleficent later on has an actual daughter or son. But guessing on book 7 so far, it seems like she has an actual daughter. But with our theory, we're guessing she has 2 kids. And also another one.
I'm just nodding along here.
Yeah.
Okay.
In case you can't hear.
You can't hear my head movements.
Yeah. And so another one is, oh my gosh.
Should I just bring up my detail?
Yeah, go for it.
So when I had first heard about this, I immediately just went, yeah, it makes sense. And immediately looked up a picture of Malleus to annoy Wonder. Because one of the things I learned about, and oh, dang it, went away. I will tell you, I did learn this in a food theory video by Matt Pat called Count Chocula's Shameful Past, where it talked about inbreeding, because I was homeschooled. We don't learn about those things. And I will probably say this wrong, because again, I am American. It is the genetic trait called Habsburg jaw, which makes it a very long and pointy or sticking out chin. And I was like, yeah, Malleus has that. Look at a picture of him. But also, as I was playing through Glorious Masquerade, I was also playing on my iPad, so bigger screen. All of the characters kind of have this.
New theory, everyone's inbred.
Yeah, so new theory. Night Raven College is just a school for inbred children. And as I was looking through all of the pictures I could find, it seems that the only people who are not with that genetic trait are Riddle, Sam, the shop owner, and Grimm, because he's a demon. But that also, he just wouldn't have that trait. He doesn't have a chin.
But he's the most one likely to be inbred because he's an animal.
He is the most likely to be inbred. I will also point out that the other characters, Wonder is not aware of this, that also have very prominent pointed chins are Idia, Azul, and the Tweels, and Lilia.
Which all of those also fit our theories here.
Yeah.
We won't get into it much, but I will say that the 3 that are fish...
Azul and the Tweels, the Octo Trio. They're fish.
They're fish.
We don't need to say more than that. Go watch Finding Nemo.
Yeah. Lilia, same theories as Malleus. And
the Fae.
Yeah, and Idia, well, he's got a pretty pure blood line.
Yeah.
I mean, how else do you get those pointy teeth? I'm just leaving it at that.
We just sharpen them. Just every morning.
Just sharpen your teeth. They don't grow like nails. You only sharpen them once.
Oh, I'm sorry. One and done.
One and done. So another thing is his personality. Now, obviously,
he's a child.
He is a child.
That's canon.
He is actually 175, I think.
Do you want me to look it up, or should we just say close enough?
We should look it up just to get it correct. But he is 3 years old in Fae years. I know that much because we bring it up often.
178 years old.
Yeah.
Oh, but this thing is just saying he's technically 18 years old. But that's in human years, because they're just...
But he's, like, mentally 3 years old.
Oh, he's a Capricorn. That has nothing to do with this.
Yeah. So, besides the fact that he's mentally a 3-year-old, it also brings to the fact that as an inbred person, you learn differently because your DNA is all fucked. So, if you didn't know that... if you're inbred and after a while it gets to the point where you are mentally stunted. And I'm not saying Malleus couldn't learn more, because obviously he's really smart and he's in school and shit, but he's...
I mean, 5th most powerful mage in all of Twisted Wonderland. So.
Yeah, but
also, that's some power you gotta be working with, those genetic traits.
Yeah. And I feel like, personally, Malleus to me looks very much like Maleficent, and not like, oh, they're obviously grandson and grandma, but like carbon copy. But like Malleus to me looks more like Maleficent than Maleficent does.
And I feel like that's another one that we could pull up Glorious Masquerade for, which we will be talking about next week. At least that's the current plan. So bear with us. We have scheduling issues. But that was one of the things where with the invites, because Maleficent's whole thing is, one, she's also the only Disney villain to have a valid reason for being a villain. Was, she didn't get invited to this very public event. So she curses the baby. That is a logical thing to do in that time. Yeah. And then, Malleus, there's just the running joke that he never gets invited to anything. They always forget to invite him. Because, I don't know. Haha. I feel like that would actually be the complete opposite in real life. If you know this dude could kill you within seconds, you're going to invite him to every freaking thing. Just in case. But no one invites him to anything. So in Glorious Masquerade, when they find out after they have already picked their 10 random students to go to this social, they have specifically requested that Malleus Dracona attends. And he was so thrilled about it. He's like, you mean I got an invitation? I must go. And he was so thrilled because, he was. And then, spoiler alert, he finds out that this was essentially a sham to take away all his magic.
An assassination.
Yeah, probably implied murder there as well. Yeah. And he was furious. And we could compare that to the original scene of Maleficent finding out that she was not invited to the christening, which again, not a private event. The entire kingdom was there. So yeah, him just finding out that he was only invited as a trap, essentially. Very similar responses to how Maleficent, the Thorn Queen, would have responded. Which you could say is because she raised him. But Lilia raised him, and I will stand by that.
But it's also very canon that no one raised him.
Let me believe that the Fae raised him. It's Lilia. He's the best dad. I'm going to believe that
he was only the best dad after he got Silver, which, spoiler warning,
it is not.
He knew Silver was the White Knight's kid from the very get-go.
Oh, wait, what? I didn't know that.
Oh, shit!
I thought you were going to say, spoiler alert, Silver's his son. And I was like, that is not a spoiler alert. Silver calls him father so many times. How the other students don't realize it. I know that's a translation thing because essentially in Japan he calls him old man and not father. But in the English version, which is what we play, everyone at that school should know Lilia is his dad, or they have some interesting interactions. Because granted, I do joke that some of my friends are my parents or stuff like that. That's a common thing to do. But it's just Silver and just Lilia. And Silver is not the kind of person that would be making those jokes.
Yeah. He also talks like an old man. But if you didn't know, people, Silver's dad is actually the person who killed Malleus's mom. Oh. And Silver finds this out and he's having a whole breakdown, and that's where book 7's at right now.
I don't follow the Japanese release unless people tell me about it or it shows up on my Instagram. Story-wise, I'm only 6 chapters into book 6, so I'm in Edia's arc right now. And I don't plan on reading it the rest anytime soon because I still need to finish Glorious Masquerade at time of recording. I'll get it.
Yeah. I bring this up because obviously now we know that
Rip.
Aurora is based off of Aurora, so we're assuming that they're...
Wow, you mean being described with auroral eyes wasn't enough to figure out that detail?
So we're assuming, if we're going off the 2014 release, Aurora and Maleficent's child, Malefica, I believe, that's Malice's mom, are like siblings feuding. Maybe it's years later and Aurora's line has gotten to the point where it's the White Knight and it's just a family feud over anything else, really, which could make a lot of sense, especially because if you know that your great grandma was the adopted daughter of the Queen of Fae, you're going to feel like you're a bit entitled to a Fae something or other.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I haven't actually read book 7, so I don't really know what their reasonings are fully.
Yeah, take anything we say about book 7 with probably multiple grains of salt.
Yeah. Yeah. So it could be a little bit more inbred through that way when you know that and that. I don't know.
I feel like the more we actually started talking about this, we just started making reasons for this not to be true. But yeah, it's also, I don't know, to me, it's a funny headcanon to think of. And also, it bothers Wonders so much.
Yeah.
Again, they refuse to have any acknowledgement with this episode. They have no involvement in this. And I am pretty sure they have stated multiple times they will not even be listening to this. And they do listen to all of our episodes. And, like, not just in the editing, but they are very not with this episode, which makes it entertaining.
Yeah, it makes it very entertaining for me. But yeah. And I mean, I feel like there's more I can say, but I can't find my words.
Yeah.
There's the obvious.
He's royalty. There we go.
Yeah, he's royalty. He's also extremely fucking powerful. Like, Maleficent was powerful as shit. You're not gonna taint that bloodline, are you? Nah.
You are going to either be breeding with siblings or finding other powerful mages.
Yeah.
And since we are sticking with the Malleus is a dragon fae, and supposedly, canonically, Malefica, whatever they call her, was the last dragon fae. Well, for one, clearly there just has to be another dragon fae if Malleus is one. Yeah. Like, his parents, at least one of them would have had to be a dragon fae, unless this is some weird genetic skip, but that seems unlikely.
His mom.
I also know nothing about genetics.
So we could go with... Let me find my stuff. I need to write down the little thing.
Are you gonna write down the, like, if you have this
yeah
thing? I was gonna say, I only know about that because of memes I have seen about saying, like, this is how genetic works. And since Percy and Annabeth from the Greek mythology Percy Jackson series by Rick Riordan have the god gene, they could just give birth to a straight up god. And that's the only reason I know about those genetics.
So let's say 2014 version.
Why didn't you draw on the back of that?
True. Let's say 2014 version Maleficent had a kid with one of the dragon fays that she was talking to before they all got brutally murdered. She was pregnant. She didn't know. Okay. That's what we're going with. She has 2 babies. Both of them are going to have dominant dragon powers. They're not going to be anything else besides a dragon fae.
Can I just point out how the 2014 version, I'm pretty sure they're bird fae. They have bird wings.
But they have horns.
They have feathers. Well.
Shut up, Melissa. Anyway, okay, so let's just say she somehow has a baby.
We don't need to discuss how that happens.
So that's a full bred. We'll say it's a half bred dragon breed. Okay, so you have a big D and a little d. And you have another fae with whatever. We'll say they're a raven because funny, haha. So we'll say the bird gene. You have R and we'll say a little d. Because maybe there's some dragon blood somewhere in there. You would have a big R, a big D. You'd have a little d, a big D. You'd have a little d, a big R, and a little d. So the only way that Malleus would be as powerful as he was if he was born from two full-bred dragon phase. Otherwise, he'd be just two little Ds or a big D and a little d, which doesn't make him as powerful. Or he'd be a big R and a big D, which, again...
They have a little chart that they're drawing on.
Yeah.
You can't see it.
You could probably guess if you've ever done genetics. I don't remember what the chart is called, but it's the...
Genetic chart.
Yeah, it's the 9 square chart where you just... do everything. But yeah.
Fill in the blanks.
Yeah. The only way that Malleus could possibly be as powerful as he is if he was a full-bred dragon fae. Which can only be possible if he was inbred. Now, that's only 26 minutes, and I feel like we should add at least another 10 minutes.
I mean, you think you can ramble for another 10 minutes? About random things?
No, I kind of have to go to the bathroom.
I mean, okay.
Right.
I mean, that's practically a half hour. And I feel like this is fun. Unless you can give me another 10 minutes of content, what you're going to be talking about right now.
I guess we could pull up more actual information. We could look at him. Okay. Let's look at him. First of all, I want everyone, if you're listening to this, pull up a picture of Malleus, and I want you to look at his face and tell me.
Look at that makeup.
Look at that makeup. He's looking slayish today. Slay. I'm sorry. But his horns are just like his grandmama's. Obviously, that could be passed down, but at the same time, his moms don't really look exactly like that.
His ears are so pointed. I never noticed that before. They're so skinny.
It looks like he just got, like, his ears pinched. Oh my god. And
then, I mean, his chin, which, granted, after playing Glorious Masquerade, is not the most pointed chin that is out there in the game that I believe goes to Edia.
But it does look a lot more like the Hasenberg jaw.
Yeah.
Than anyone else, because it's like a pointed square. And also, if you're listening to this, I want you to look up Hasenberg jaw. If you need to know how to spell it, it's HABS BURG. I can spell. And I want you to look at them because they look exactly like Malleus's chin.
And you know what? For fun, go watch the food theory video I mentioned, because that's how I learned about it.
Yeah, get some more details.
They go into some scientific detail about why that chin happens, and, you know, I watched this like a year ago. I can't accurately say what was in that video or what wasn't, but I remember very clearly that was how I learned about this.
And
it talks about inbreeding, which is what this episode is about. So maybe you'd like more videos on that.
And if you're going to leave a comment about how he's clearly not inbred, we know. We're doing this as a joke, simply because it bothers Wonder.
We're such great friends.
Yeah. We're hilarious. But we know he's not inbred. I mean, there's the possibility he could be inbred just because of everything we literally just listed and told you about. But we know he's not inbred. You can still comment about how you think he's not inbred. We would love a comment.
Yeah, make all the comments. We'll try to respond to them.
We will respond to them.
Yeah, we'll respond to them. We've gotten like one comment so far. Which was while I was at work, so I didn't even respond to it.
Lol.
They sent the response before I got to read it.
But yeah, if you have any more reasons why he is inbred, we will definitely delve into those way more. We'll make a part 2 if we have to.
5 minute long, just so we can read these random facts by one listener or something.
Another thing.
I mean, you could also list what other characters you think are inbred. We've already mentioned Edia and the fish.
Yeah.
I mean, really, just look at him. I mean, lions. It's probably Leona as well.
I don't want to think about that.
Have you seen The Lion King? This is canon.
Okay, but the way lions breed, it's very canon that Leona is probably definitely inbred.
Yeah. His is just so canon, it's not worth mentioning.
Yeah.
Ironically, when I was looking up characters, the only human character that had the least pointed chin was, I say his name wrong every time, and probably different every time, but the Simba character, what's his name? Cheka?
I think it's
Cheka. The little baby. He has a very round face, which makes sense. Maybe he'll grow into it.
I think that's because... I'm not sure.
He's a child. Cute features. There we go.
But also, like, Leona, I think he talks about maybe his brother taking someone from, like, another place as his wife. I'm not sure. Don't take me on that. But yeah. But lions, if you didn't know...
There's lots of girls and one boy.
And that's how they breed. And then if there's any new boys born, they get like 6 months before they have to fight the original male and be like, I'm better.
So yeah, think about that the next time you watch The Lion King. Simba ending up with Nala, who is either his sister or his cousin, on the off chance Scar is her father. So just remember that. Disney's been selling the inbred relationships for a long time.
Which is another.
Plus, you also have the sequel. Now we just have awkward silence because we don't edit this stuff out. I actually don't know whether or not Wonder edits out our silence or not. I don't think they do.
No, they don't. I can tell you, because I do listen.
You listen to them on 0.2 speed. We sound like chipmunks.
I do actually listen to them on 0.2 speed because it's hilarious as fuck. So
yes, once you're done listening to this, listen to it again as chipmunks.
It's hilarious.
I think this would be a very entertaining video to listen to, having chipmunk-sounding people explaining why Miles Stracona is inbred.
Yeah.
It would be very entertaining.
No.
You don't like when I talk like that?
No.
Suffer.
No.
It's hard to talk like that. It's caught in my throat.
Also, okay, so, like, clearly, these inbred characters, the fish and Leona, they all act almost exactly the same as Malleus does. They all have that weird, crazy thing going on. You know what I mean?
You could say all of them have a weird, crazy thing going on, as well as just capitalism.
But... But they all have it. Sorry, I keep looking at Headless Leona in my PC. I think we talked about it in the last episode, but during my move, I lost the head of Leona, my Leona figure.
Yeah, it was either in the episode or after we ended, but you did talk about it last week. Oh, you're getting a phone call. Is that going to mess with the recording?
No, apparently it did. Good. That might be my brother telling me he is back. With my dog. So I will end this.
Yeah, we could have ended this like 5-10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So thanks for sticking around to the end.
Yeah, we hope you enjoyed it. Please leave some comments. You can just say hi. Yeah,
just say hi. We'd find it very entertaining. And hopefully, if you hated this episode, you'll continue to listen to future ones where Wonder actually has a say in what we record. It's better when we have all three of us.
Yeah.
Please don't let this episode turn you off from future ones. We're just having fun.
If anything, let this episode be the one that makes you watch all our other ones.
Please let this episode be the one that makes us famous. Just for the laughs.
Just for the giggles. Oh my god. Okay. So we should end this for reals.
Yeah. Okay. Well, goodbye. Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye. Bye.